In 2019, I vividly remember opening my inbox to find a message that wasn't feedback, it was brutal criticism. Someone had picked apart everything I'd worked so hard on. I could feel my chest tighten, my face burn, and that familiar voice inside me whispering, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. You've probably felt it too, that sting of being criticized, as if the weight of someone else's judgment suddenly becomes heavier than all the progress you've made. And sometimes it's not just the words, it's the fear that they're confirming our worst doubts about ourselves. But what if I told you criticism doesn't have to tear you down? What if it could become the very thing that sharpens your resilience and leads you toward greatness? Alfred Adler, the brilliant mind behind What Life Could Mean to You, believed that how we handle criticism is often a reflection of our deepest insecurities. He argued that the key to growing from it isn't about ignoring it or shrinking under its weight, it's about reframing how we see it. Today, I want to share how Adler's insights changed the way I handle criticism, and how you can use it to build confidence, not crumble under pressure. Because the truth is, the people who succeed aren't the ones who avoid criticism, they're the ones who know how to use it to become stronger. If you've ever felt paralyzed by judgment or doubted yourself because of someone else's opinion, stick with me. This one's for you. 1. Why criticism cuts so deep? Let's be honest, criticism stings because it feels personal, like it's not just about what we've done, but who we are. Adler believed that this pain is rooted in our inferiority feeling, that deep-seated fear that maybe we're not enough. Think about the last time someone criticized your work, your choices, or even your appearance. Wasn't there a split second when you wondered if they saw a flaw you've tried so hard to hide? That's what makes criticism feel so heavy. It taps into the doubts you're already battling. But here's what Adler taught. Feeling inferior doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. And this feeling isn't a final verdict, it's a signal for growth. 2. Detach your worth from the criticism. One of Adler's key insights is that we're often too eager to tie our self-worth to others' approval. We let compliments inflate us and criticisms deflate us. And when we become addicted to praise, we start fearing criticism more. Both praise and criticism can trap you. Ask yourself, do I need people to approve of me to believe in myself? When you detach your self-worth from external opinions, you reclaim control over your confidence. You become someone who takes feedback seriously but not personally. Think of yourself like a mountain. Storms may rage and winds may howl, but the mountain stands tall. Criticism is like the weather. It can't shake your core unless you let it. So, next time someone criticizes you, remind yourself, I am not my mistakes. Take the feedback, evaluate it, but don't let it shrink your sense of self. 3. Differentiate between helpful and harmful criticism. Not all criticism is bad. Some feedback can genuinely help us grow, but only if we learn to discern the helpful from the harmful. Adler encourages us to ask, is this critique meant to help or hurt? Constructive feedback points to something you can improve, while cruel remarks aim to tear you down without context or care. Does this person have my best interests at heart? Are they someone you respect? Do they have the expertise to give this advice, or are they projecting their own insecurities onto you? If the answer is no, let it go. But if the feedback is valid, even if it stings, it's worth considering. Remember, personal growth often begins where comfort ends. Let's say you post your opinion online.
I get your point, but I think you're missing some key context. Maybe looking at this article or research could give you a fuller perspective.
This is the kind of feedback that's helpful. It invites you to grow without dismissing your viewpoint. It opens a conversation instead of closing a door. Now, compare that to this.
You have no clue what you're talking about. Just stop embarrassing yourself.
This isn't feedback, it's an attack. There's no effort to inform or guide, just a blunt attempt to shut you down and make you feel small. 4. Criticism is about perspective, not truth. Adler believed that no one sees the whole picture. They only see through their own lens. Someone might criticize your art because it doesn't fit their taste, not because it's bad. Another person might criticize your life choices because they don't align with their values. Here's a mindset shift. Harmful criticism usually reveals more about the critic than the criticized. So people project their own fears, insecurities, and unmet expectations onto others. Think about it. Have you ever snapped at someone, not because of what they did, but because you were stressed, tired, or anxious? The same happens when people criticize us. Their words might say, "You're not good enough," but what they're really saying might be,
"I'm struggling too."
So, the next time you face criticism, pause. Instead of internalizing it, ask, is this about me or about them? 5. reframe criticism as fuel, not a wall. Think of criticism like a sparring partner. It can knock you down, but it can also make you stronger if you get back up. Adler would argue that we grow the most when we face discomfort head-on. Instead of seeing feedback as an attack, try this. Write down the feedback objectively, without emotion. Ask, is there any truth I can learn from this? Turn it into an action step. For example, if someone says your presentation was all over the place, don't internalize it as, I'm terrible at this. Instead, ask, which part could I make clearer next time? 6. The courage to keep showing up. One of the hardest things about handling criticism is staying visible. It's tempting to retreat, to create less, share less, and avoid situations where you might get judged, but Adler believed that life's meaning comes from contributing, not hiding. The next time someone criticizes you, remember this: they can't take away your courage to keep going. The only way criticism wins is if it makes you stop showing up. When I started sharing my work publicly, I was terrified of criticism. And trust me, I got a lot of it. Some of it was valid and some of it was cruel. There were days I wanted to quit because I thought, maybe they're right. But then I remembered Adler's words. It's not the criticism that matters, it's how you respond to it. So I kept going, and little by little I realized that the very things people once criticized became my greatest strengths. 7. Building confidence from within. Adler argued that true confidence isn't built on the absence of criticism, it's built on your belief in yourself despite it. Confidence is quiet, steady, and resilient. It's not about silencing critics, it's about knowing that their words don't control your narrative. Ask yourself, who do I want to become? Focus on that, not the noise around you. Criticism might bruise your ego, but it can't touch your purpose. Handling criticism doesn't mean pretending it doesn't hurt. It means refusing to let it define you. Life isn't about avoiding judgment. It's about becoming so grounded in who you are that no external opinion can shake your sense of worth. Adler believed that when we focus on growth rather than approval, we free ourselves. Criticism becomes feedback, not failure, and confidence becomes something no one can take away. So, the next time someone critiques you, pause, reflect, and remember, their words don't have the power to break you unless you give it to them. Your story isn't written by others, it's written by you. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect. How has criticism shaped your journey so far? Leave a comment below, I'd love to hear your story. And if you found this video helpful, share it with someone who might need this reminder. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content on personal growth.